Good morning, everyone. Welcome, if you're on there, to the podFlow2, I guess in this case live from YogaPod in Fort Collins. It's I think one of those times, I think, right at this moment in whatever is going on in our culture, in our country, and the world at large. I think that at this point, I don't know if we have to have too much motivation to do yoga or enough rationale to do yoga, but maybe just a little motivation to always step to the mat. And I recommend, just real quick before I get started, that we realize that about this time when it comes to setting a new practice or setting a new pattern inside our life, even though the patterns have been disrupted in all the different ways that we know, that it's always a good opportunity about 30, 40 days to recognize that that's the hardest part about maintaining a practice. It's usually gung-ho up until the point, we realized when we started into the quarantine that there was a possibility that we'd be there for a while, and so we decided to get going, get after the practice, working really hard to install that part of the practice. And at this point, however, I think that there's a tendency to kind of rest upon our laurels, give ourselves, well, I can practice later on during the day, I can practice tomorrow, I can just, keep track of this, especially with them on Facebook when you can have the opportunity to do it whenever. But I do recommend that you try to maintain a daily practice if you can, even if that means just simply doing sun salutations and then a little bit of seated meditation, or it's just sun salutations and then laying down in Shavasana. That's just really my only bit of wisdom for right now, is that it really takes a little bit of time to install a good practice, but at the same time, sometimes the effort is from periodically recognizing that when our resolve gets a little weak, that we have to then push through. It's just like any other posture, any other aspect of the practice. And so today, as we work through, I want to work primarily on doing some kind of maybe interesting, hopefully it's interesting, some aspects, work on some of the aspects of our anatomy within the postures. And so it might seem a little less like vibrant in a way for the normal podFlow2 that I would normally teach. But at the same time, I think that it's really good information to start to think about our alignment in some really specific and precise ways to really draw inward into our body and really think about how our body is responding to what we're asking it to do, rather than just going through simple actions or trying to create the form and the shape of the posture, but instead thinking really clearly about, okay, what does that feel like? How do I implement that action or that alignment cue? And then how, after a period of time, do I continue to recognize that pattern within other postures, within other aspects of the practice? And so in that way, our practice becomes more of an internal aspect of it. So as we draw deeply into our alignment within our postures, it allows us this opportunity to kind of really think about where we're at in our body. And then we recognize those patterns in different forms. Because we all have, even though the posture might change, our body and our anatomy doesn't necessarily change, at least not very quickly. And so we want to recognize those patterns and recognize where the work needs to be done. And so today, let's go ahead and start in child's pose. Bring your big toes to touch, your forehead towards the mat, arms out in front, knees towards the outsides of the mat. And then maybe closing the eyes for the first couple of breaths, and then as we get going, we'll start to activate the breath. But take a first maybe 2-3 breaths and just allow the breath to soften you into the mat. Let yourself arrive in this space.
And then deepening the breath, starting to find a resonant breath towards the back of the throat. Roof of the mouth stays soft. Taking full breath. And walking the hands back.
Finding yourself in a nice tall seated posture. Drawing the ears back a little bit. And bringing hands to heart center, palms pressing together, thumbs towards your sternum. And that's good. Start here with 3 ohms, deep breath. Back down towards your lap, and then just sitting here for just a moment. Let the ears move back. Start to feel the sensation in the spine as you inhale. See if you can breathe your breath almost from your inner thighs up towards the top of the roof of the mouth. And then as you exhale, hugging the rib cage in just a little bit, pressing the tailbone of the breath down through the tailbone. Inhale, the belly pulls in and up. Exhale, pressing the breath out through the tailbone. Inhale. And exhaling. And then go ahead and come into a tabletop posture. From your tabletop posture, we're going to start to work some action in the shoulders. And so we'll work first off by taking shoulder blades together towards one another in the back of the body. And then really draw the spine long, take the tailbone long, and take the shoulders forward toward your ears. Now shoulder blades broaden. And then draw them back toward your hips. Squeeze shoulder blades. And find that rolling action. Feel the way that the shoulders are moving. Working the mobility in the shoulders. So it's super easy when you're in a posture, when you're working these kinds of poses, to anchor down through the belly and have a little bit too much compression there. So what we want to do is take the tailbone back and then work from strength in through the shoulders. Rolling the opposite way, so this time towards your ears, shoulder blades squeeze, rolling the opposite way. And then stabilize through there, and then taking your biceps, rotating biceps in towards one another, and then taking triceps back. And so thinking about just using the movement in the elbows and the shoulder cuff, spreading the shoulder blades wide, so try not to squeeze them together. Press into the floor, shoulder blades wide, and then just biceps in. Triceps. Keep your hands planted. Working those independent actions. And then from here, bring it back so that the inner elbows are towards one another. Bending the elbows, roll the shoulders. And so the elbows bend the opposite direction. Working on those different arrangements in your alignment. I got a little excited there. So I want to just move biceps and shoulders, not my whole rib cage. And then from here, take your palms down to the floor, press your elbows down towards the floor, and then lifting your knees up off the floor just a little bit. Now, same thing here. Roll your shoulder blades back and apart, rolling up towards your ears, and then lift your hips towards the sky. And then from your downward facing dog, see if you can lift up your toes a little bit, let your head draw towards the floor. And then bringing the knees back down to the floor. A little bit different posture this time. So taking a child's pose, a little bit of a child's pose, and then we're going to take our right arm out to the outside and then bend the elbow. So rather than reaching the arm out, bend the elbow. Take your left arm out in front, and then thinking about your shoulder blade on the back of the body, push forward with your arm at the same time. Now pull back, shoulder blade moving forward and back. And so from the side, it might look like taking the arm out across. It creates length in the side body. So pushing forward and squeezing back. Forward and squeeze it back. A couple more times. Forward and squeeze it back. Nice. And then rotate to the other side. Taking your palm, push out, left elbow is bent, push out, and then squeeze back. Push and squeeze, push and squeeze. So it's an isometric movement. Push and squeeze, shoulders getting good heat. And then this time coming over to the other side, take your left arm out again. This time we're going to take it to the left side, so squeeze, and then the right side, squeeze, and the right side, up 4 or 5 times to each side. So it's not actually moving, but the muscles that would be required to create that movement are happening. And the other side, so then squeeze it to the right side, pushing out and squeezing in, pushing out, squeezing in, 3, 4, and then 5. And then release it back. Come back into your tabletop posture. Let's do some cat-cows. Try to stabilize through the shoulders, so not too much movement in the shoulders. We've already done that. Now working thoracic spine, lower back, and then through the hips a little bit. So inhale the heart forward a little bit. Exhale, pulling in. Inhale, stabilize through the shoulders. Exhale, pull it in. Again, inhale. Exhale. Again, inhale. Exhale. One more time, inhale. And then exhale, push into the floor. Bring your hips towards your heels, curl your toes. Find that little bit of a puppy pose, so knees towards the outside. Now send the pubic bone back. Now with your hands, push forward with your hands, and then pulling back. So it's like that same action. Pull the shoulder blade back, push, and pull like you're trying to pull the mat backwards. Inhaling, exhale, hug it back, lift the hips to the sky, and then press down through towards your heels. You can roll your hips to one side and then the other. Freestyle movements, explore any sort of stiffness you might feel right there. And allow your breath to still be vibrant. So a lot of times the attitude of our breath helps to establish how we cultivate energy inside the posture. So it's never a problem to take a deep inhale and then a right, without the moan maybe. Unless you like the moan when you're at home, it can be nice. When it's in public, sometimes it's awkward. But you know, I know people that will do it when they're all, but that exhale will soften your nervous system a little bit. Now, sometimes we want to embolden our nervous system a little bit, inspire it, and so our inhale is nice and vibrant, and our exhale, so pushing out of the breath, and it creates strength. See if you can lift your toes up off the floor, and then press down through the big toe mound, and let the little toes come down, so press down through the big toe mound, and just the big toe pushes down.
Try to keep the little toes up. Lift the big toes up off the floor. Push down through the little toes, but try to keep your big toe floated. A couple more times for both. So push back through the heels. Push your mounds of your feet into the floor. Try to lift up the toes. Mine barely come up at all. And push down through the big toe. Lift the little toes. Push down through the big toes. Or push down through the little toes, the 4 little toes. And lift the big toe. Take a deep breath here. And then as you exhale, step towards the front of the mat. Bring your feet towards your wrists and let your body hang in a ragdoll pose. You can shimmy side to side. Swivel the hips a little bit. And bring the hands back towards the floor. Heel toe your feet together. Let the big toes touch. Inhale, roll your lower back a little bit, so press the tailbone down. Inhale, lift up the heart, lengthen forward, and then exhale, fold forward further. Tailbone down, roll through your lower back, and then lift the heart up, lengthen through the throat, and exhale, forward, fold. This time, lengthen the tailbone, lift your lower back, lift your chin up, inhale, come up to the top, press the palms, hands to heart center. Let's do some Sun Series A, we'll modify. So inhale, the arms come up, reach up to the sky, press the palms. As you exhale, tailbone anchors, groin pulls back, hands on the floor. Inhale, lift the chin up off the chest. As you exhale, step back into high plank pose. Knees can come down if you need to. And then hold here. Hold with strength. Push into the floor. Inhale, and then maybe squeeze shoulder blades back. A couple of times, through to about 5 times. 1, 2. So scapula push-ups. 3, 4, and then 5. Down dog. And then from here, let's do a posture. We'll call it a, I can't remember what it's called. It's like a hot dog pose. Bringing your elbows almost to touch the floor, but keep them lifted. Let your head go. It's turbo dog, I guess they call it. So forearms almost on the floor. Squeezing the outer armpit towards the mat. 3. Push your legs long, maybe bring more weight forward. 4. And then 5. Arms pressed towards straight. Take a deep breath here. Inhale. Finish out the exhale. Bend the knees. Look forward. Float or step to the front. Lift the chin up off the chest. Exhale. Press tailbone and hands towards the earth. Inhale. Rise up to the top. Reach up to the sky. Exhale. Arms to the side. Arms come up. Inhale. Reach up. Look up. Exhale, fold forward, hands down, tailbone down. Keep the tail down. As you inhale, inner thighs pull back. And then exhale, high plank pose. High plank pose, inhale. As you exhale, knees down, chin down, chest down. Take the tailbone, anchor it towards the floor, puff up through your lower back, and lift the rib cage as you roll forward. And then exhale. Heel the hips back towards your heels, lift your hips towards the sky, let your head go. Quadriceps are strong, push down through the big toe mount, lift up through the little toes so you feel engaged with the mat. And try not to sink your chest through your shoulder blades. Keep the shoulder blades wide and then allow the spine to lengthen out through. Take a deep breath here. Inhale, lift your chin up, find almost a plank pose, a really high hipped plank pose. As you exhale, press the breath, look forward, find a crouch, and then step forward or float to the front. Lift the chin up off the chest, press your heart open. Exhale, push down into the floor, squeezing. Inhale, rising up, deep breath, reach up. Exhale, arms to the side. Again, inhale, the arms come up. And exhale, folding, palms down, tailbone roots. Inhale, inner thighs shift back. Exhale, low push-up pose, Chaturanga Dandasana, step back and float, low push-up. Inhale, hips lift for a moment, slide the heart open, and exhale, hips towards the sky, head is heavy, so you should be able to nod the head, you're not squeezing shoulder blades together, you can shake it side to side. Lots of freedom in the neck as the shoulder blades move apart. And then isometrically, squeeze your palms towards one another, try to hug them in, and then try to squeeze them out. Try both of those actions. Then same thing with your feet. Squeeze your feet towards the outside edges of the mat, so you feel like you're trying to stretch your mat wider, and then pull the legs in. Find both engagements. Squeeze them out, hug them in, arms, squeeze out, hug in. Find the midline in between both, where both actions and engagements are contained. Then inhale, come forward towards that plank with the hips way up onto the toes. As you exhale, bend the knees, look forward, front of the mat. Inhale, lift the heart up, inner thighs back. Exhale, tailbone down, press your palms down. Inhale, all the way up to the top, reach up to the sky. Exhale, arms to the side, Samastihi. So it's that push and pull action that creates the yoga posture. Arms come up, push into the earth, reach up to the sky. Exhale, folding forward, hands down on the mat. Inhale, lift the heart high. As you exhale, low push-up pose, Chaturanga Dandasana. Lower down, up dog, inhale, pull the heart open, down dog. Exhale, lift the hips to the sky, press your kidneys up a little bit to poke the kidneys up. Then lengthen the legs, deepen the groin. So you don't want to collapse into the lower back, but instead feel a buoyancy in the middle, lower, and upper back, and then melt the spine through. One inhale. Finish the exhale, look forward, front of the mat, step forward or float. Inhale, lift the chin up off the chest, pull the heart forward. Exhale, press into the floor, bow it in. Inhale, rise up to the top, reach up to the sky. Exhale, arms to the side, Samastihi. One more time, arms up, look up. Exhale, folding, hands down. Inhale, lengthen the spine, open up the front of the heart, press into the floor. Low push-up pose, Chaturanga. Up dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Lift up the right leg nice and high, inhale. And then taking some circles with your leg. So bending the knee, finding some of that hip mandala work. Big circles, maybe some littler circles with the hip. Try to stabilize a little bit through the back of the hip. Switching directions. Release your right foot down. Lift the left leg up. Open up the hip, bend the knee. And then find those little mandalas. Rotating, getting the femur bone moving around in the hip socket. And then release it down. Press your hands into the floor. Deep breath, inhale. Press the breath out, look forward, front of the mat, step forward or float to the front. Lift the chin up off the chest, exhale, press into the floor. Inhale, rise all the way up to the top. And exhale, arms to the side, Samastihi. Surya Namaskar to Utkatasana. Set deep, arms up, inhale. Exhale, fold, hands down. Lift the heart forward, tip weight into the hands, bend the elbows, chin up, exhale, Chaturanga. Up dog, expanding, down dog, hips to the sky. Lift your right leg up, inhale here. As you lift it up, externally rotate your thigh. So externally rotate, the right hip opens up, now press your toes back down. Right hip opens, toes back down. Inhale, lift the leg high. As you exhale, shift forward towards plank pose, knee to nose. Hug in, squeeze. Inhale, lift the right leg high. Look forward a little bit. As you exhale, push towards that high plank pose. Inhale, lift it high. Lift the heart forward. Exhale, knee to nose. One more time. Inhale, lift the leg high. Exhale, knee to nose. Look forward. Step in between your feet. So your foot's almost towards your right thumb a little bit. Fingertips on the left side or palm flat. Lift the right arm up to the sky. Rotate the tricep outward and reach your side body long. So then from here, it's like a side stretching posture, extended side angle. And then take your right inner thigh out, right outside of the right hip and hug forward as you reach. Spin the heart open. Let your head draw back and look towards your palm. One more breath, inhale, reaching. Exhale, squeezing in. Look down. Bring your right hand down to the floor. Bring your left outer heel down to the floor. Squeeze the outside of the right hip forward, inside of the right leg forward. Squeeze forward, and then lift the left arm up. You can lift it straight up first, towards the sky. Rotate the tricep, reaching long. 1. Keep coiling the tailbone under. 2. And then release left hand down to the floor, up on the back toes. Step back, plank pose. Up dog, inhaling. Down dog. Exhale, hips to the sky. Left leg lifts up. As the left leg lifts up, open the hip a little bit. Externally rotate the thigh. Internally rotate, bring it back. Try just to isolate some of that hip action and squeeze in a couple of times. Lift the left leg high. Inhale, lift the chin up off the chest. Exhale, knee to nose. Coil in way up onto your right toes. Inhale, lift the leg high. Exhale, coil in up onto your toes. Inhale, lift it high, look forward. Exhale, up onto the right toes. Hug and squeeze. Excuse me. Lift the leg. And then this time, knee to nose, look forward. Place the right and the left foot on the floor. Right hand stays on the floor this time. And so with the right hand on the floor, take your left arm straight up. That causes the left hip to lift up. So squeeze it down and forward. Try to open up through the right inner thigh by pulling it up. Set deeper. Now rotate and reach. Left arm long. Push into the floor with your right arm. 1. It's about 4 breaths, 3 or 4 breaths. This is our first time here, so I don't want to stress it out too much. And then release, left hand down. Bring your right heel flat on the floor and take your left arm, your right arm up towards the sky. Coil the tail. Rotate the shoulder and tricep and reach. Excuse me. 1, 2, and then 3. Look down. Bring your hand down to the floor. Step back. Chaturanga, or knees down, chin down, chest down. Roll the tailbone. Lift the heart. Exhale. Hips to the sky. Couple of breaths. One breath. Inhale. As you exhale, pressing the breath, looking forward. Front of the mat, step forward or float. Lift the chin up off the chest. Exhale, squeezing in. Inhale, Utkatasana, arms up. And then exhale, Samastitihi. And so changing up a couple of different things here. We'll work through the same patterns and same actions, but we want to make sure that we engage. So from Utkatasana, we'll separate our feet a little bit, just so that we can simultaneously learn to squeeze the legs in tight and press out. So both actions have an isometric engagement. At the same time, coil the tailbone, but stick your booty back. So little space in between your heels. Set deep Utkatasana, arms come up. Now from your Utkatasana, squeeze your legs out. Try to slide the feet out. So hold that. Hold that engagement through the outer hip. Now squeezing the legs back in together. Feel your tailbone draw in. Squeeze the feet apart, slide them away. Squeeze the feet together, bring them in. One more breath. Isometrically press out. Isometrically squeeze in. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, hands down. From here, same thing. You have a little space in between your feet. Press out. Try to push your hips wider. Thighs press out. And then squeeze them back in. Both patterns. Squeeze out. Squeeze in. Squeeze out. Squeezing in. Hug, hold. Inhale. Keep that engagement. Lift the chin up off the chest. As you exhale, low push-up pose. Chaturanga Dandasana. Up dog. Inhale. Down dog. Exhale. From your down dog, press out through the outsides of the hips. Squeeze them in. Keep that engagement on the left side. Lift the right leg up high. Inhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lift it high. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lift the right leg high. Exhale, knee to nose. And then look down. Place the right foot down. Inhale, reach your right arm forward and open up into that twist. As you exhale, hand down to the floor. Bring your left heel down to the floor. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, hand comes down. Chaturanga Dandasana, low push-up. Up dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale. So again, press out through your heels here, out through the sides of the feet. Squeeze them in. Now lift up the left leg, maintain the strength of the right leg. Inhale, lift up your left foot. Exhale, knee to nose, come forward. Inhale, lift the leg high. Exhale, knee to nose, squeeze forward. Inhale, lift the leg high. Exhale, squeeze forward. Look down, bring your left foot down to the floor. So from here, inhale, lift the left arm forward. As you exhale, bring it back down. Back heel down. Inhale, reach the right arm forward. As you exhale, bring it down. Chaturanga. Up dog. And then down dog, hips to the sky. Couple of breaths here. Good opportunity for child's pose if that's something you do. Couple of breaths. Then take one more inhale. Finish your exhale first. Bend the knees, look forward, float forward or step to the front. Lift the chin up off your chest. Exhale, fold. Find the engagement. Squeeze and pull the legs apart. Utkatasana. Squeezing in, pressing out, reaching up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Pause it. So building those active engagements, the squeezing in, pushing back, the pushing forward, pulling back, finding the sweet spot right in the middle. Utkatasana. Find the push, the pull, the lengthening, the reaching, the exhale, the hands down. Find the push, the pull, the in and the out. Inhale, lift the heart up. Bring weight to the hands. Chaturanga Dandasana. Up dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Lift up the right leg, inhale. Step into your deep lunge as you exhale. Right arm forward, inhale. As you exhale, right hand comes down, windmill it back. Bring your left outer heel down to the floor. Inhale, reach the left arm, so deeper into the hip. Exhale, hand comes down. Chaturanga Dandasana. Up dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Left leg comes up, inhale. Step into your lunge as you exhale. Inhale, left arm forward, reach forward. As you exhale, hand comes down. Back heel down, inhale, reach your right inner thigh, and exhale, bring it down. Chaturanga, inhale and exhale. Pull the heart through, lift the hips high. Good. One more inhale. Finish the exhale. Look forward, front of the mat. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, fold. Utkatasana. Find the push and the pull. Exhale, Samasthiti. Do it again, arms up, inhale. Reaching to Utkatasana. Exhale, hands down, strong feet. Inhale, lift the chin up off the chest. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, low push-up. Up dog, inhale. Down dog, you exhale. Lift the right leg high, inhale. And then exhale, step to your lunge. Reaching the right arm forward, inhale. As you exhale, watch the thumb, bring it back. Left heel down, left arm, look at the palm, reaching. As you exhale, bring the hand down. This time, let's take a revolved posture. Left arm reaches, reach up, reaching back, hold, push down through your outer heel. See if you can imagine squeezing your foot back, pushing back, and pulling it in. With your right leg, push out to the outside, take your knee with it, and then squeeze your knee inward. Inhale, warrior two, hands down, low push-up. Up dog, inhaling, down dog, exhaling. Left leg, inhale, lift it up. Exhale, press and step. Bringing your left arm forward, inhale. Watch it roll around. Bring your back heel down. Right arm, inhale, reach. Exhale, bring it down. Revolved, inhale, coming up. Push your back leg further back. Squeeze it further in. Push your left leg out. Hug it back in.
So both patterns, consistently engaging them, make the pose. Inhale, and then exhale, hands down. Low push-up pose. Up dog, and then down dog, hips to sky. Pause there. Almost warmed up. Strong through your legs. Deep in the groin. Inhale here. Push forward towards plank pose. Lift the hips high. As you exhale, bend the knees. Crouch your tiger. Float forward or step to the front. Inhale, lift the heart high. Exhale, push into the floor. Fold in. Bend the knees. Utkatasana. Arms up. And exhale, Samastihiti. Nice. So go ahead and take and step back towards the back of the mat. Whichever side seems appropriate. Hands towards your waist. Rather than forward folding here, let's go ahead and rotate our heels outward, heels inward, and take a horse stance. I like to shimmy a couple times with the sides. Now, take your hands, elbows to the insides, so you're almost like in a football stance or something. And then push out against your arms and squeeze your knees in. So from here, you could stay here or hands down to the shins. Squeeze your knees in, feel the action and what sort of intelligence it creates. Now squeeze your knees in. Push out with your elbows, squeeze your knees in. Out with the elbows, squeeze the knees in. 2, 3. Try to squeeze your heels towards one another. Try to push the legs away from one another. 4, 5, straightening out the legs, bring your hands down to the floor, take your feet parallel. Right hand stays on the floor, right underneath your nose. Take your right shoulder towards your left foot, so rotate it forward. Take your left arm up to the sky. So right shoulder towards your left foot, and then take your left arm, roll that shoulder blade back and look up towards the ceiling. Holding the pose, feel the shoulder, right shoulder shifts forward, left shoulder draws back in equal proportions. The shoulders and hips will work in conjunction with one another. Both sits bones moving backwards. Be gentle with your lower back in twisting poses like this. Look down, bring your left hand down. Right arm, lift it up, inhale. Left shoulder rotates towards your right toes, and then roll the right shoulder back. 2, holding it, feel the pressure. Squeeze legs in, push legs out. Press arm down, reach arm up. Roll shoulders back, one more breath, and then release. Right hand comes down to the floor, heels in. Find that same horse form, same action as before. Elbows on the insides, squeeze your elbows in. Hands to the shins, push out against your hands, squeeze your knees in. So both actions, lift the heart forward. 2, find your feet, make them strong. 3, squeeze them together, push them out. 4, and then 5, straightening out the legs. A little bit different twist this time. From here, taking your right hand underneath your nose, rotate the right shoulder just like we did towards the left. Now take your left arm up to the sky. Take the shoulder forward. This time, grab towards the outside of the shin or the outside of the foot. Take your left thumb back, reach back for your inner thigh, and twist. From there, maybe you bend your elbow and you let your head go. 3, 4, 5. Look down first, release your right arm first. Hand underneath, release the left arm up, and release it down. Same action, second side. Take your right arm up to the sky, and then take your left shoulder, reach back for your left inner thigh, right hand towards the back of the calf or the side of the foot, let your head go. Charge your legs, make them strong. 3, 4, and then 5, releasing your left arm back in front of the face. Right arm comes up and then let it come down to the floor. Last time with that variation of horse pose. Heels in, pressing into the floor, elbows towards your thighs. Bring your hands towards your shins, pushing out against your hands. Squeeze your knees in. Push your knees away from one another, away from the hips, hugging heels back towards one another. 3, 4, and then 5. From here, bring your elbows onto your thighs and then up onto your hands. Now take right shoulder towards your left shin bone. So right shoulder forward, pull the left shoulder back. Inhaling and exhale. hug. One more time. Inhale, maybe you come out a little bit. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale towards the top. Exhale, left shoulder down. Inhale, exhale, squeeze. Inhale, exhale, squeeze. Last one. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, squeeze into your twist. Bring it back to center. And then forward fold. Hands down to the mat. Heel toe your feet out wide. And then fold. Palms can be down. Actually, let's do palms down onto the floor. Now take your hands and squeeze them towards one another. So with the hands, hug them in. That broadens the chest. Squeeze hands in. Now push out a little bit with the outsides of the hands so they squeeze in. Triceps move in. Now push out. Same thing with the feet. Squeeze the legs in towards one another. At the same time, push out. So see if you can really feel the extension out through the legs, the deepening of the groin, the pulling in, which anchors the tailbone. Again, find both actions. Make them both strong actions. One more full breath. Inhale. Finish out the exhale. And then inhale, look forward. And exhale, bring your hands to your waist. And inhale, come all the way up to the top. And step to the front, Samasthiti. Nice. And then from here, let's do some separate leg postures. So Trikonasana, taking your arms and step them out to the side, or right foot out to the side, unless you need to do the left side to see the camera. Rotate your right toes out, rotate your left toes in, or the heel further back. Now taking, before we move into it, squeeze your legs inward, try to pull your heels together. That's half of it. The other part is pushing your legs apart. So two parts. Inhale here, reaching. As you exhale, move into triangle pose. Pull the belly button back. Maybe you have your big toe push into the floor. Now squeeze heels in towards one another. Feel the tailbone lengthen. And then as you push your feet away, roll the left shoulder back. Right shoulder comes in. Left shoulder draws back. 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Inhale, come up. Rotate both feet. Before we move in, pushing feet, or squeeze heels in, hug in. Feel the right hip rotate in. Now push out through your heels so they're apart. Inhale. As you exhale, come into it. Find your big toe, chin, pushing the feet apart, squeezing them in. Find the midpoint, reaching arm up. 2. Roll the left shoulder forward and in. Roll the right shoulder back and around. 4. And then 5. Inhale, come up. Exhale to the side. Now rotate your feet again. This time make them wider. Rotate, maybe walk your right foot out. Inhale, bend your right knee. Warrior 2. Squeeze heels in, press feet apart. Flip your palms. Inhale, and then exhale. Extended side angle, more of a hot yoga style. Squeeze your right knee into your elbow and tricep. Squeeze in, press the outside of your left heel in. Once you're in the form of the pose, deepen the lunge and squeeze the legs towards one another. So again, pushing out, sealing the feet into the floor, squeezing in, finding internal integrity. One more breath, inhale, finish the exhale, and then warrior 2. Straighten the right leg, rotate your feet. Rotate the left foot out, rotate the right thigh in. Inhale, exhale, warrior 2. Flip the palms, inhale, and then exhale, bring it in. So the left inner thigh moves forward, squeeze the heels in, reach to the sky. Find both push and pull. 3, 4, 5. Inhale, come on up, deep breath. Exhale, straighten, rotate your feet, and then go ahead and step to the front of the mat. So again, different postures today, a little bit maybe more difficult. Arms can come up, inhale, and exhale, fold forward, hands down to the floor. Lift your chin up off your chest. Exhale, step back, low push-up pose. Knees down, chin down, chest down, always an option. Up dog, and then down dog, hips towards the sky. Look forward, float forward, set down. So I'm going to step forward, knees come down, legs out. Upadishta Konasana. So with your legs nice and wide, we're going to work on the rotation of your thighs and hips. So rotate first right foot in, left foot out, and then switch that up. Try to keep good connection with your feet on the floor, with your hips on the floor. And then push through your big toe mound. Feel that plantar Plantar flexion here, extension of the ankle. Now roll them back, finding the action. Try to keep them moving with a strong foot. There we go. And then from here, keeping internally rotate the thighs, peel the pubic bone down, and then rotate the hips back, right? Reach your arms out in front, push down, pull the heart forward. So try to keep your collarbones broadening. 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Take your left elbow towards your left inner thigh. Take the right arm up and over. Reach for your foot. Toes flex back towards your face. Feel the side body stretch. Really reaching out. So it's not just a passive stretch. Push your elbow down. Feel the side body open. Take your right thumb. Pull it back. If your right hip comes up, press it back down a little bit. Reaching. Head can be heavy if that's a lot of stress in the neck. Reaching. Take your right arm, reach it back. Feel the neck stretch. Reach the right arm up. You can bring your hand to the side of the head and slowly come up. And releasing. Take your right elbow towards the floor. And then take your left arm and reach. Reach wide. It's easy to get into this kind of slouchy action. You can re-enter the pose if you find yourself slouching. Push your right elbow down. It pulls the chest through. Reaching. Again, you can let your head be heavy here if it's a lot of stress for the neck. Then we'll do a little neck stretch. Let the arm come back. Keep pushing right elbow down. Let the head be heavy. And then just to come out of the posture, reach your left arm long. Hand towards the side of the head. And inhale. Come on up. Deep breath. Exhale. Pause here. Now, we're going to go ahead and work on some of our other postures, like Janu Shirshasana, but first, let's go ahead and take a vinyasa. Cross your shins, pull your knees up into your chest. Bring your arms forward, lift your legs up. So hold here. Squeeze the knees in towards your collarbones. Hug them in, squeeze your heels back towards your glutes. Take your arms to the inside, press your palms forward. Flex your feet, your fingertips back. 2. Squeeze your ankles away from one another. Squeeze your thighs in towards your elbows. Push your elbows out. Lift your chin up. 4. And then 5. Shift weight forward into the hands. Come up into a cross-legged crow pose. Lift your legs. Squeeze your feet away from one another. At the same time, squeeze your knees into the shoulders. Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog, hips to the sky, look forward, float forward, and imagine you're setting into your, releasing onto your butt, or maybe you just sat down in a more reasonable way. Now take Upavishta Konasana again, but this time we're working more of that Janu Shirshasana action. So take your right foot, and without using too much arm engagement, lift up the right foot, bring it in. Top of the foot on the floor. Now take your left leg, bring it in. Reach forward with your leg, make it strong. Bring your hands beside the calf muscle. Right knee pressing down. Now lift up your left leg. Feel that engagement. Hold. Heel comes down. Reach forward. Find your other hand. So find that muscular lift, like we're pushing our heel down. Creates one action. We're trying to lift up the foot off the floor at the same time from the hip. 3, 4, and then 5. Inhale, lift your heart forward. Exhale, bring your right hand back. Ardha Mandalasana, lift the heart up, spin it open, push through your tailbone, and then release back towards that Janu Shirshasana form. And take your left foot out to the outside. Take your right leg out to the outside. Bring your left heel in towards the groin. Take your right leg out, straight out in front. Lift up your front leg, so find that strength of the lift. Find that engagement, hold that engagement, reach forward, find your front foot. Push down through the heel, lift up from the hip. 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Inhale, come up, Ardha Mandalasana. Hand pushing into the floor. Lift the heart, pull it open. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Bring it back down. Take your right foot out. Take your left foot out. Upavishta Konasana form. Then cross your shins.
Plant your hands, and again, similar posture. Pull the knees up towards the chest, then take your arms in front. Squeeze the knees in, push forward with your palms. Find both actions, then shift. So make sure your legs are crossed the opposite way. Squeeze, let's do it. 3, 4, 5. Bring your weight forward into your hands. Push into the floor, lift your feet up. Try to pull them apart. Try to squeeze your knees higher up onto the shoulders. 3, 4, 5. Chaturanga. To up dog and then down dog, hips towards the sky. Bend the knees, look forward, flow forward, set down. All right. So from that sitting down action, if you have 2 bricks, grab them. If not, we'll modify. So if you have bricks, Baddha Konasana, bring them underneath your knees so you have something to push against. It's not really something that we have to have, but it should give it kind of limits our range so we're not pushing beyond what seems reasonable. It also gives us kind of something to push against. It's hard sometimes to push down without having something to work against. 2, 3, 4, and then 5. From there, bring your hands, bring your brick up towards your thighs. This one's hard for me because of the way that my legs want to shift back, but I don't just want to teach postures that are easy for me. But bringing your elbows in, palms together, squeeze the legs in as hard as you can. Try to press the bricks against your elbows. Now elbows push against the bricks. Find both actions. Squeeze in, push down with your elbows, and try to squeeze and then soften. Squeeze the knees up, push up, and then press out. 3, and then softening the knees a little bit towards the floor. 4, and then 5, releasing the knees, taking your legs out to the outside. Now we're going to have them in more of a frog form. So there's about maybe a brick or 2 in between your heels, depending on your arrangement. And then take your arms underneath, bring your hands towards your foot. So it's like you're riding a motorcycle. Squeeze the shoulders tight, push forward with your feet, pull back with the back of the hips. So push quadriceps and squeeze forward. Lengthen and try to bow in. Now take your knees, squeeze your shoulders. With your shoulders, broaden and press the legs apart. 2, careful with the knees, careful with your joints. 3, muscles heal pretty easy if you give them time. Ligaments and tendons take a lot longer. 4, and then 5. Inhale, come up. Exhale, cross your ankles, full crow pose. So tip forward, bring your hands, squeeze your shoulders, big toes touching, lift up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Up dog on inhale, down dog as you exhale, and then bend the knees, look forward, float forward, and sit down. And then from here, with our legs straight out in front, push through your toes. Feel the flexion of the toes, and then slowly, or the flexion of the sides of the under part of the foot. So that's how we're extending through, getting some activation in the calf muscles, pushing. Slowly lay down on the back. Maintain the engagement in the back body. And then from here, right leg is going to lift up. It lifts up towards the sky. Take your arms up towards the sky. Without touching your right leg, lift up into your Supta Padangusthasana. So reaching towards the big toe with your chin. Push your left hip down. 3, 4, and then 5. Inhale here. As you exhale, you can bring your arms to the outside, or else you can keep them left hand on the hip. And let the right leg open up to the outside without using your hand or even a strap. It's not about the stretch here, it's about the engagement. Push down towards the floor with your right foot and your left hip. At the same time, imagine you're pulling the leg up towards the sky. You can use your right hand to provide resistance. Right hand pushing down gently, but lift up against it. Inhale, soften. Lift up against it, soften. Lift up against your hand and soften. Bring it down. Now lift the leg up to the sky. Exhale, pull your thigh towards your chest. Squeeze. Inhale, lay down. Exhale, right foot comes down, left side. Lift the left leg straight up. Inhale. Exhale, do your crunch and hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, lay down. And then exhale with the leg nice and strong. Open it up. If it's out in front, that's fine a little bit, but try to keep the leg straight. Open it up. Now, left hand on thigh, right hand can be on your other thigh. Push down against your left inner thigh, but push up against it. So leg lifting, hand pressing down. Inhaling, maybe you lift and find strength. Exhale, pushing it back down. Find the strength in the lift, then soften and deepen. One more time. Inhale, push up against your hand. Exhale, soften it down to the floor. And then the leg comes up on inhale. Exhale, reaching. Lay down on your back. Let the left foot come down. Bend the knees a little bit. Bring the heels up towards your glutes. Squeeze your legs in. So we haven't even lifted up our hips yet, but we try to squeeze our feet together towards one another and the hips lift up. Now push them apart and feel how you find more space in the glutes. Squeeze in, inner thighs don't actually move together. They just act like they want to. So they're compelled, right? They're squeezing in. Walk your shoulders under. Lift your hips towards the sky. Broaden the front of the chest. Broaden the front of the waist. Lift them up. Maybe come up onto your toes. Squeeze your ankles towards one another. Press your heels out. And then 5, release the hips down to the floor. Lift your legs up to the sky. Inhale. And then as you exhale, bring your toes towards the floor behind you. So pull them down. Lower back down to the floor. And then lift them back up. Toes engage through the front of the body. Pull your toes towards the floor. Hips back down. Legs back down. Let's do 3 more. Legs up. Squeeze the thighs towards your chest. Hips down. Legs down. Again, inhale, bring them up. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, hips down. Exhale, legs down. Last one. Legs up. Inhale. Exhale, toes. Inhale, hips down. Exhale, heels down. Bring your heels back towards your hips. Rock them side to side a couple of times. Get that little spine twist. Other side. One more time to both sides. And bring the legs straight up towards the sky. Heel toe your feet to the outside. Constructive rest. Work the hips pretty good here today, so let your hips really rest inward, or your knees rest inward. Feel that little external rotation, or internal rotation of the thighs. And then letting the heels come together, Supta Baddha Konasana. Maybe bringing bricks or blocks underneath your hips if you have them available to. Take your hands, maybe you bring them on top of the thighs and pushing your hips long. Feel some decompression in the hip socket. As you push out, maybe you also simultaneously with the muscles in the legs suck them back, the femur bone back up into the hip. So again, both actions. Hug in. Feel the knees rotate outward a little bit. And then using your hands, peel the feet back to the outsides of the mat, knees come up. Reach your legs straight out in front. Bring the heels toward the outside edges of the mat. And then quickly, maybe about 40 or 50 times, whip the feet back and forth. The more vigorous, the more movement you're getting in the joints. Soften the joints, let them be floppy. Rarely in yoga are we asked to be floppy. And then from here, softening the knees a little bit quicker. More movement in the hip socket, so the hips moving. That'll cause your lower back to rise and fall. Let it be so. Everything is wiggly. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then release. Lay flat in Savasana. As you rest in your Savasana, allowing your breath to be your guide, functional, releasing. Softening your nervous system, allowing your breath to facilitate a kind of complete release of the body into the floor. Let the roof of the mouth be soft. Let the ears melt towards the mat. Doing our yoga postures, we have our bandhas engaged, we have our muscular energy engaged. Then we get to our savasana, and sometimes it's easy to stay engaged. It's almost like there's an electrical charge that we start to build up through practice. But this is where we discharge, this is where we let it go, this is where we let those opposing energies start to dissipate. Fulfillment of our practice, this obligation that we put ourselves through when we decide to step to our mat, the fulfillment of that is our shavasana, right? So that is the obligation that we have. We do the work, now we get to reap the benefits. It's like preheating the oven so that we can gently cook. And then in many ways, like as if we were our own individual little cupcakes. We build the heat, we feel it rise. We open up, we lift, we expand. And at the end, we let ourselves cool. We sit on the counter and just let that heat dissipate. Because you can't put frosting on a hot cupcake, as we all know. So be cool, everyone. It's truly an honor to be with you as always. I wish you all were here with me. Much love from YogaPod and myself. I bow to you all. Namaste.